Dear friends, our small world floating in this vast universe is full of amazing coincidences and events, where every passing moment, new events and coincidences keep happening, although most of them become dust of time, but some remain fresh at all times due to their individuality and uniqueness. In today's video, we're going to share some such incidents with you, in which the events that will happen will amaze you. It was the day of December 16th, 1964, when a ship sank on the coast of Virginia, in which 70 people were on board, 69 of whom died, but one man survived, whose name was Hughes Williams. When the body of this man was taken out of the sea, a watch and wallet were retrieved from his pocket, whose color was brown, while this man had only one son, whose name was James. Time passed, and then 21 years later, in 1785, another ship sank on the same coast, and surprisingly, 70 people were on board, 69 of whom died, but one man survived, whose name was Hughes Williams. The most amazing thing was that a watch and wallet came out of that man's pocket, while he also had a son, and his name was James. Not only this, but 10 years after this incident, another ship sank at the same place, which was a small ship, and 25 passengers were on board, 24 of whom survived. But one man drowned and died. Surprisingly, the name of the dying man was also Hughes Williams. This is certainly a coincidence that can surprise anyone. Viewers, it is the same thing as 1937, when a woman from America was on her floor with her children, but suddenly a child's foot slips and he starts falling down from the floor. But just in the meantime, a man named Joseph was passing under the floor, and that child, fortunately, falls on the shoulder of that man, and Joseph gets injured and goes to the hospital, which is discharged after a minor treatment. A year after this incident, in 1938, this man named Joseph again for some work, but surprisingly, the same child slips again and falls on his ear. And just like before, Joseph is sent to the hospital, where he is sent home after a minor treatment. But this incident is still a part of the surprising history, and perhaps this incident will put future generations in the same confusion. Viewers, have you ever seen two births of the same person with your own eyes? If not, let me tell you that the founder of the Ferrari company, Enzo Ferrari, died in 1988. But a year after his death, in the same city, a famous footballer named Mesut Ozil was born, who, surprisingly, looked exactly like Ferrari. Even their habits were very similar. Friends, it is clear that according to Hinduism, every person comes back to this world after his death. Therefore, after seeing this incident, the followers of Hinduism called Mesut Ozil the second birth of Ferrari. The Harvard Dam was such a dam that 96 people were killed during its construction. But there is a secret hidden in these incidents that will surprise you. Let me tell you that the construction of this dam began on December 20th. And on the same day, a person fell off a bridge and died. But after a while, when the last day of the construction of the dam was going on, at that time another person fell off the same bridge and died. And surprisingly, the death date of these two people was exactly the same. Even their last name was exactly the same. You must know the American pop singer Michael Jackson, who was famous all over the world for his unique dance and songs. But the world was surprised when a German person appeared in 2017 who looked exactly like Michael Jackson. And the interesting thing is that this German person is also a local singer. Not only this, but a few years ago, a statue was found during a research in Egypt, which looked like it was the first birth of Michael Jackson. Therefore, friends, this incident is also considered a strange coincidence in the history of the world. In 1898, a surprising novel was written, which made a lot of noise in its time. This novel was written 14 years before the Titanic accident in 1912. That is, in 1898, by Morgan Roberts, in which the only word difference is between Titanic and Titan. But the events written in the novel were so similar to the Titanic accident that the mind was amazed. Morgan wrote everything in that novel that happened with the Titanic in 1912. In his novel, he writes how the iceberg tore the ship apart from below and who showed generosity in the chaos and who supported humanity. Lifeboats were so crowded, while the captain's helplessness was surrounded by all the pain of a father who was with the Titanic. The point is that it feels like Morgan had already seen this incident in his dream and stopped the film. Morgan's writing was his dream or something else. Only Morgan knows. But this amazing coincidence is beyond understanding. But it is the nature of God that man is sometimes shown the events that are already happening. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that American President Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy were both killed. However, very few people know what was the amazing similarity between the two murders. However, before the similarity of the murder, it would be interesting to know that there is a difference of exactly 100 years between the two presidents. That is, Abraham Lincoln 1860 and John F. Kennedy were elected president exactly 100 years later, that is, in 1960. After the murder of the two presidents who were elected, both these presidents were named Johnson. However, there is a difference of 100 years between the birth of both, i.e., Andrew Johnson and Lyndon Johnson. That is, Andrew Johnson was born in 1808 and Lyndon Johnson was born in 1908. Similarly, there is a difference of exactly 100 years in the year of birth of both the killers. Abraham Lincoln's killer John Wacky's ghost was born in 1849, while Kennedy's killer Lee Harvey Swartz' year of birth is 1949. And both the killers died before the trial. Surprisingly, Abraham Lincoln was killed in the theater, and his killer went to the warehouse and hid, while John F. Kennedy was shot in the warehouse by the killer and himself went to the nearby theater and hid. And from the same place, the police defeated him. One more surprising coincidence is that the theater in which Abraham Lincoln was killed was called Ford's Theater, while the car in which Kennedy was killed was named Ford Lincoln. The murderous attack on both the presidents took place on Friday, and both his wives were sitting next to him at this time, and the killer shot them in the head. At the time of the murder, in addition to the wives of both the presidents, a guest couple was also sitting with them. In Kennedy's car, in addition to his wife Jacqueline Kennedy, Governor Texas John Conley and his wife Admiral Burl Conley were passengers, while Abraham Lincoln and his wife were sitting with Mary Toad. At Ford's Theater, American diplomat and military officer Henry Redbourne was sitting with his wife Clara Harris. The men of the couple sitting far away were seriously injured in these attacks. And the president of Abraham Lincoln Theater, who was watching the drama from the box, was number 7, while the car in which John F. Kennedy was riding was number 7 in the presidential caravan. So dear friends, this was our today's video. Do tell us by commenting how did you like the video. Meet you in the next video.